What is up, NASCAR racing fans? You're watching the NASCAR Nitro Series on the HSL Diecast Racing channel. And today we have the season finale for the Modified Series, filmed on location at the actual Nazareth Speedway. And while the Stock Series Championship might have been decided a race early, that is definitely not the case for the mods. There's still 3 guys mathematically eligible within less than 100 points of winning the title. It's going to be exciting. There was a lot of action in the stock race, and this modified race should not disappoint either. Here we are at Nazareth Speedway on location, as close you can legally get to the track surface. Right on the other side of that fence is where Martin Truex Jr. won the last NASCAR race, and Dan Weldon won the last IndyCar race at Nazareth Speedway 21 years ago. And if you look in the background, that is the same cement plant that you can see in the NASCAR 2005, 2006, and 2007 video game. And now right here is where Skeeter Davis won the first Hot Wheels race at Nazareth Speedway a week ago. The track is no different for the mods. Your stock champion William and your stock race winner Skeeter Davis would be watching the race from the finish line if they weren't competing in it. And William will be starting 21st, Skeeter Davis starting 29th. And here is the rest of your starting lineup. And the field for the modified race is set by points just like the stock race, because we're filming in public and have a limited time to do it. Burt Buzzard, your series points leader, is on the pole. He's at 3 wins on the season, and with 3 second place finishes, stole second in points last week at the hockey rink, is Lucky Jackson. Starting third is Clyde. He held the points lead for over half of the season so far. Can he get it back today? We'll find this out today, but first, a deeper look at your 3 championship competitors. First, it's your points leader, Burt Buzzard. He got 3 wins so far this season, including this win at Le Mans, his first career Nitro Series win. In that race, Australia swept the podium. Here he is at Sonoma. He made it into the main event with moves like this. Navigated that funnel chute with ease, running away from the rest of the field. Skeeter Davis has been one of the fastest cars all season. And here he was at Pocono, his most recent Nitro Series win. Po' Boy, whose cars are fast in their own right, he side drafts and flies away with them with ease in the main event. And up next is Lucky Jackson. Currently 75 points back. He may not have a win yet on the season, but he does have 3 second place finishes. He took second place from Clyde and made this a 3-way points battle with a top 10 finish at the hockey rink, while Clyde DNF'd and Burt Buzzard went to the 5th and 6th race. And here he is at Talladega, flawlessly navigating the funnel chute in his placement race, taking a dominant win there. And here he is at Indianapolis, one of the 3 races where he got a podium. Gained speed off of a side draft. It's not easy to do, but he does it here. And finally, we got Clyde, 89 points out. Causes 2 drivers to lose their footing on his way to lead the lap and head to the main event in the Daytona 500. And take a look at this amazing come-from-behind win in the seconds race to move on to the main event of the Coca-Cola 600. He has the same number of top 5s and top 10s as Burt Buzzard, including this win where you see here the final lap at Martinsville. He got his first NASCAR Nitro Series victory. All 3 drivers are super talented and they have fast cars. And kicking it off is going to be Burt Buzzard, your points leader and wins leader, and currently the championship favorite with a 75-point lead. He starts next to Lord Raymond. There's no pusher advantage to start the segments here in this modified race. He and Lord Raymond are side by side heading into turn number 2. He breaks free of the pack, cautions out, looks like Chef Squid's on his side. Burt Buzzard's the only car that's going to finish the lap this time. Lord Raymond's going to hold on to second place. And Chef Squid's nightmare of a season has finally come to an end. In a place where he spent a lot of time, he might not be back next season depending on the number of mail-in entries we get. In fact, Lord Raymond might not even be back next season depending on the number of mail-ins we get. And he's going to have a top 10 points finish. And now the gates are down. Burt Buzzard, with the advantage of an extra pusher, gets a great push from Lord Shank, who moves up to second. Lord Shank, in a similar Thunderbird Stalkers, had a late season surge. He's been to the seconds race in the main event quite a few times after a slow start to the season. And we've got another caution. This time it is Lord Raymond. A bad day for the host team, possibly mailing in at the news that the team will be downsized for the 2026 season. That is if we get more than 48 other cars from other people. It'll just be Johnson Jr. and Tristan Racewelski. They commissioned me to build cars for them. And there's no subscriber like a happy subscriber. And now the gates are down for lap number 3. And look at Burt Buzzard flying away from the rest of the pack. Riot Isaac trying to make a move on Lord Shank for second place. And then Riot Isaac, after a slow start out of the gate, overtakes Bill Bubb on sheer speed and then lays out an expert side draft on Lord Shank to overtake him for second place, runs away with second, as a matter of fact, and now the gates are down for lap number 4. Once again, Burt Buzzard running away from the rest of the field. Lord Shank trying to rebound and retake second place from Riot Isaac. Riot Isaac reverse side drafts him. He weighs twice as much as Lord Shank's car. And it's Burt Buzzard and Riot Isaac. And now a trip to the main event or even the seconds race should be enough to win the championship for Burt Buzzard. As long as Burt Buzzard wins this segment, he is your 2025 NASCAR Nitro Series Modified Champion. He gets a little squirrely coming out of turn 2, but he regains his composure, crosses the line first, and moves on to the main event. Burt Buzzard can lose no more than 50 points now to either Lucky Jackson or Clyde. Burt Buzzard is your 2025 NASCAR Nitro Series champion. And while the points battle may technically be over, the racing on the track is just getting started. Lucky Jackson still looking for that first career win, racing for pride for that first career victory. Takes an early lead over the rest of the field, gets a bump from Sparky Racer to close the deal on lap number 1. And we've got another El Recco. This time it's Gavin McSpadge. He joined Chef Squid and Lord Raymond in the HSL Junkyard, a trio of Lord Shank Stock Car Racing Series veterans. And Lord Shank Racing is going to be returning for the 2026 Nitro Series season. Not sure what his driver lineup is going to be yet, but let's see if Sparky Racer, Misty G, Casey Kane, or Far Out J has anything to do about Lucky Jackson, who's still fighting for second place in the points and for his first career Nitro Series victory. Once again, though, Lucky Jackson running away from the rest of the field, coming out of turn 3 with a 3-car length lead over Misty G, who takes over second place from Sparky Racer. Casey Kane remains solidly in 4th, Far Out J in 5th. But look at this, the inside lane just railroads the outside. Sparky Racer moves back up to second place. Far Out J, looking for some redemption after DNFing in the stocks race, moves up to 3rd for lap number 3. Lucky Jackson's best lap yet, led by a track segment and a half with just 2 laps to go. And once again, the inside lane so much faster than the outside with that extra pusher, and cautions out. This time it's Far Out J, flips on his lid, collects Casey Kane behind him. Sparky Racer and his satellite teammate Misty G blast by him. And after all that, Far Out J, whose season began with so much promise, a win in just his second start, is going to end his year with a double DNF at Nazareth. And now it's time for the final lap of segment number 2. Nobody's had any answers for Lucky Jackson so far. His worst enemy on this lap has got to be himself. The gates are down. Once more, Lucky Jackson with a track segment lead before they even leave the drag track. Lucky Jackson heading into turns 2 and 3 flies away from the rest of the field. They fall into a single file line for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and it looks like Misty G is barely still on the track. She'll move on to the seconds race. Sparky Racer to the 3rds, and Casey Kane to the 4th. And now it's time for segment number 3. On the front row, you have your 3rd place driver, your last guy that's still eligible for the championship, Clyde in the number 94. Next to him, Harry Hoon in the 97. Clyde's teammate William and Charlie Verney in the 2nd row, and finally Mike Honcho and Hurt So Good. The gates are down. Clyde holding off a hard charge by Harry Hoon and Charlie Verney. They're side by side. That's what he likes to see. Expands his lead to almost a track segment in that short amount of space between turn 3 and the backstretch. And we've got our first caution of the segment. That's Mike Honcho, another driver that's seen some bad luck this season. His nightmare of a year ends in the HSL Junkyard. And that leaves Clyde in a great position for lap number 2. He's got his twin brother behind him, plus another extra pusher behind them. And now Harry Hoon's got 2 options. He can give it full throttle, or he can play it conservatively and try to salvage 3rd place and get 2nd later on. And it looks like Harry Hoon just bunches up the field behind him as Clyde takes the lead. Harry Hoon gets pushed off the track. William holds on to 2nd and cautions out for another El Recco. This time it's Charlie Verney on his roof and out of the race. He loses all of his speed in the upper lane thanks to Harry Hoon's aggressive blocking. And he ends his 2025 season still looking for that elusive first career top 10. He's been so close so many times, but today the laws of gravity were not on his side. And now it's time for lap number 3. And look at this push William gets from Harry Hoon, looking to get into the main event and his first top 10 finish since his podium at Martinsville. But look at this, Clyde reverse side drafts his twin brother, tells him to stick to the stop. An unforced error by Hurt So Good, hopefully getting all the bad juju out today instead of during the playoff game on Sunday. And it's up in the air whether the Go Birds gang will be back for next season. It depends on what they do in the playoffs. So this brings us to lap number 4. 6 cars started this segment, only 3 remain. It's Clyde, Harry Hoon, and his teammate and twin brother William. And the gates are down. Clyde's got an easy pass to the main event as long as he doesn't make any mistakes here. He has the fastest car on the track. But look at Harry Hoon on his back bumper. Clyde starts to pull away in turns number 2 and 3. Clyde 1 lap away from the main event. Now, Burt Buzzard may have clinched the championship, but Clyde won some redemption after his first lap DNF at the hockey rink race, just like Skeeter Davis got redemption for losing to a flea market field filler in the hockey race. And now Clyde is just 3 turns away from the main event. And Harry Hoon trying to make something happen at the last second. He's going to run out of time. It's going to be Clyde joining Burt Buzzard and Lucky Jackson. And now it's time for segment number 4 on the front row. 4th in points is Gale Force, your winner at Texas Motor Speedway this season. Next to her is Puff. Behind them, J-Bo and Elton Sawyer. Christy and Sloppy Bear make up the rest of this segment. And now the gates are down for lap number 1. And what a great start by Nessa Force. Gets a push from J-Bo, who moves up to second place. Nessa Force running away from the field. Gets beached on the guardrail. J-Bo passes Nessa Force, leaving the rest of the field behind in the dust. J-Bo leads lap number 1, comes up from 3rd place. And once again, we've got another caution. This time it's Christy. Christy for G-Force Racing. Check that channel out. They're hosting an IndyCar tournament. I entered it, and so did a lot of the other builders on this channel. She flipped her lid in the split track, and now that leaves J-Bo with an extra pusher. Heading into lap number 2, he's got Puff and Sloppy Bear behind him. Both Puff and Elton Sawyer are a good 20 grams above next season's legal limit. And now look at this Gale Force trying to wrestle her way back into the lead without any help from any pushers. The field bunches up in turn 1. Puff and J-Bo in the bottom lane. Boxes Puff out, pushes him off the track. Meanwhile, Elton Sawyer and Sloppy Bear collide. Sloppy Bear doesn't make it out of there on his wheels. That's another DNF for Sloppy Bear. His nightmare of a season's finally come to an end. And it's quite the contrast to his teammate Gray, who's going to be leading the next segment down from the pole. But we've still got 3 more laps left in segment number 4. J-Bo currently in the driver's seat, led both laps so far. Now the gates are down, and without the extra pusher, it's going to be Gale Force on the outside. She takes the lead. J-Bo tries to cut underneath her, retake the lead back. Gets pushed off the track by the lighter Gale Force, tagged by Elton Sawyer a bit at the end there too, who moves up to second place. And with 2 laps to go, it's Gale Force back in control of this segment. Next to her is Elton Sawyer, and they're still side by side at the bottom of the drag track. J-Bo trying to claw his way back up to second place. It doesn't work. Gets forced off the track again. Everyone else single file line for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's going to be Gale Force leads the lap one more time. Gale Force 1 lap away from going to the main event. Elton Sawyer running in 2nd place. He really needs this 2nd place finish here. The last 2 weeks saw a DNQ and a first lap DNF. The gates are down. And it's Gale Force and Elton Sawyer running away with it. They're single file around turn number 3. Gale Force wins the segment. J-Bo drives off the track at the last second and bins it. His once promising season where he was in the top 10 in points past the halfway mark ends in the HSL junkyard. 3 straight DNFs. This will probably push him down another spot or 2. It's unfortunate because he showed a lot of speed and led a lot of laps this year. And now it's time for segment number 5. On the pole for this segment is Gray for Sloppy Bear Racing. Comes into this race 5th place in points. And then you have the Uncle Elvis teammates of Bobby Allison and Heather. Giorgio for G-Force Racing, the stock of Skeeter Davis, who suffered some axle damage late in the main event of the stocks race, and the number 2 of Big Play. And the gates are down. Bobby Allison takes the lead from Gray. They are side by side. Gray gets pushed to the bottom of the track by Bobby Allison, tagged by his teammate Heather. It's an all Uncle Elvis front row for lap number 2. And the gates are down. Bobby Allison and Heather side by side. Heather, your Daytona 500 and Southern 400 winner. Bobby still looking for his first career win. And it's going to be Bobby Allison leading the lap again. Bobby Allison dominant so far in segment number 5. Skeeter Davis drives off the track. Very uncharacteristic of him. He did win the last Moz race, and look at this. Gray sunk all the way back to 5th place. And it's a tight pack for lap 3 of this segment heading into the first turn. Bobby Allison and Heather still side by side. Looks like it's going to be Bobby Allison again, or maybe not. It's Heather, and Giorgio moves up to 2nd place on top of that. Heather makes a clutch move for the lead on her teammate heading right towards the finish line. Now with 2 laps to go, she's in the driver's seat. Next to her is Giorgio, looking to get back into the main event for the first time since Darlington. That was like 3 or 4 races ago. And the 2 of them combined for 0 top 10s and a DNQ for Heather since then. It's going to be Heather leading the final lap. Still all 6 cars. Some excellent clean racing so far in this segment. Heather leads the field down for the final lap of segment number 5. Gets a great push from Giorgio, who's now making a move for second place on Bobby Allison. And look at Bobby and Giorgio side by side heading towards the finish line. It's going to be Heather to the main event, Bobby Allison to the seconds race, and Giorgio to the thirds. Some awesome clean racing for position in that segment. And now let's see what the 6th and final segment, the final segment of the 2025 NASCAR Nitro Series season, has in store. And on the front row, we have a couple of team owners here. Po' Boy for Po' Boys Racing and Gaza for the Barora Bangers. Behind them, Baby Richie, the Owlman, Chase Elliott, and Crazy Ruby. The gates are down. And look at this, Po' Boy and Gaza still side by side, heading out of the turns. Po' Boy slides past Gaza, takes the lead heading into turn number 1. They fall into single file. Po' Boy leads the lap, and all that for no position changes at all, heading into lap number 2. Just 5 laps left of the NASCAR Nitro Series season of segment racing, and the gates are down. Gaza with a half a car length advantage heading into turn 1. And look at this, through the turn, they're still side by side. Gaza and Po' Boy side by side still through the whole lap, heading to the finish line. We got to slow this down. They are still within a couple millimeters of each other. It's going to be Gaza that gets it on the outside. Look at this, Gaza takes the lead in a thrilling side-by-side finish for lap number 2. Still no position changes behind them at all. And this time, Po' Boy has the better start out of the gate. The Owlman's hood is kind of like a ramp for him to slide off of. But would you look at this? He loses too much speed on the high line. Gaza flies past him on the bottom, retains the lead, heading into lap number 4. And would you look at this? Baby Richie still in 3rd. The Owlman still in 4th. Crazy Ruby still in last place. No positions have changed other than the lead, and they're still fighting for it tooth and nail. This time Gaza with a bit more of an advantage heading out of the turns, heading into the final lap. No position changes once more behind them, and it's going to be Po' Boy and Gaza leading the field down once more. And now Baby Richie looked a bit more competitive on that last lap. Can he make a move for second place? Can the Owlman do anything? He's got fresher tires than any of these other drivers. Now look at this once again, almost no room between the top 4. Baby Richie trying to make it 3 lanes wide. This is what Gaza wants to see. It's going to be Gaza heading to the main event. Po' Boy to the seconds race. And now it's time for the 5th and 6th race. We had some clean racing, 0 DNFs in the last 2 segments. Skeeter Davis and Chase Elliott got 5th place in those segments. Crazy Ruby and Big Play with 6th. And it looks like Skeeter Davis going to have the advantage coming off the bottom. But he gets pushed off the track by Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott takes Skeeter Davis from 1st place to last. Chase Elliott in the driver's seat to move on to the 4th race. The gates are down. He clears the rest of the field by the time they get to the bottom of the drag track. And just like that, they're in a single file line. It's going to be Chase Elliott to the 4th race. Crazy Ruby, Big Play, and Skeeter Davis 10 DNFs. Skeeter Davis is going to be scored. And most of that was concentrated into 2 segments because there's only 4 cars in the 4th race if you don't count Chase Elliott, who raced his way in. And now Gray started on the pole. He's got that extra heavy pusher. He's got the Owlman right behind him, single file. It's going to be Gray and the Owlman running 1 and 2 for lap number 1. No DNFs on the first lap of this 4th race. That means Gray's going to have that extra pusher once more. This time it's Lord Shank fulfilling that role. And once more, Gray flies away from the rest of the field. Chase Elliott now in 2nd place, drafting on the back of Gray. They're flying far away from everybody else. It's going to be Gray rounding turn number 3. Gray moving on to the 3rd race. Chase Elliott, Lord Shank, the Owlman, and Casey Kane with one of his wheels seized up with tungsten putty. That marks the end of their seasons. Now it's time for the 3rd race. Let's see how far Gray can go. He's got Puff and Sparky Racer, Bill Z, Bub, and Baby Richie, Giorgio and William. And look at this, the Puff's racing teammates far and away from everybody else, drafting to the head of the pack, trying to get into the seconds race. And look at William trying to make a move at the bottom, past everybody, but he gets tossed off the track. And it's Puff and Baby Richie going to start lap number 2 of the 3rd race on the front row. Now let's take a look at this display of teamwork here. You see William gets a surge on the bottom. Baby Richie and Puff, those teammates, box him out to the bottom of the track, pin him against a fan's car, set him on his side, completely neutralize the threat. What a great piece of driving by both Puff and Baby Richie. And now for the 2nd lap of the 3rd race, it's the Puff's racing teammates of Puff and Baby Richie. Baby Richie with a slightly better push off the start gate from Bill Z Bub. He's trying to battle Puff for 2nd place now. Baby Richie far and away from the rest of the pack. Puff blocks everybody else. They get caught up in the corner at turn number 1. Puff stalls in the middle lane. of the second and third turns, but there's a pile up behind them. Puff blocking for Baby Richie to ensure his teammate moves on into the seconds race and has a chance to fight for a spot in the main event. And now on the front row for the seconds race, we have Po' Boy. Next to him, Misty G. Behind Po' Boy, you have the 97 of Harry Hoon, Bobby Allison in the 22 for Uncle Elvis Racing, Misty G and Baby Richie's teammate Riot Isaac in the 45 and the 38 of Elton Sawyer. And look at this, the gates are down. They're already in a single file line. Po' Boy running away with it. Look at this train of cars, 6 long behind them through the turns. Smooth, clean racing on lap number 1. And now it's time for lap number 2 of the seconds race. Po' Boy ran away with the first lap. He's got the advantage of an extra pusher. Harry Hoon in second, Baby Richie up to 4th from 7th. The gates are down. Po' Boy with that extra pusher in the inside lane. Already 3 car lengths ahead of everybody else. And they're all bunching up behind him, which is exactly what Po' Boy wants to see. He crosses the line. It's going to be Po' Boy to the main event. Harry Hoon takes second, crosses the line for 8th place overall. Let's see what the rest of the top 10 looks like. And it looks like Riot Isaac and Elton Sawyer are off the track, so that means Misty G takes 9th and Bobby Allison takes 10th. And now it's main event time. Look at this stacked main event. On the front row, your 2025 Modified Series champion, Burt Buzzard. Next to him, Skeeter Davis. Behind them, Clyde still fighting it out for second place in the points. Then you got both Barora bangers. They have wins on the year. Heather and Po' Boy. That's 9 Modified Series wins in this segment so far. Only 2 of these drivers looking for their first career win. And when it's over, it's going to be 10 out of the 12 races with a winner in this main event. The final main event of the year. The gates are down. Burt Buzzard running away from the rest of the pack. Gaza and Clyde battling it out for second place. Gaza gets tossed off the side of the track. He is on his side and out of the race. He'll be credited with 7th place. It should be good enough to get him back into a top 10 points finish. The gates are now down for lap number 2. And look how tight the field is heading into turn number 1. 6 of the fastest cars this channel has ever seen. Less than 6 car lengths between them. They fan out heading towards the finish line. Po' Boy moves up to second place. Still nobody has anything for your champion Burt Buzzard heading into lap number 3. And now the gates are down for the 3rd lap. Once more, all 6 cars bunched up heading into turn number 1. Po' Boy and Burt Buzzard kind of runs away from the rest of the pack. Now they're caught up behind him. Po' Boy's on his roof. He took the upper lane with too much speed. Now they're jumbled up behind him. Looks like Heather's on her side as well. That is a double DNF for lap number 3. It's Heather and Po' Boy. Heather will be ranked in 5th. Po' Boy 6th for this race. Po' Boy flipped further back on the track, and it doesn't matter how far you slide on your roof. And now the gates are down. It's the last 2 laps of the season. Lucky Jackson and Burt Buzzard side by side. Burt Buzzard with the advantage on the inside coming out of turn number 1. And now Gale Force trying to make something happen to get her second career win. Bins it on the front stretch. And we're down to our 3 championship contenders for the last lap of the season. What are the chances of this? The 3 best cars all year are the last 3 cars standing, and the gates are down. Burt Buzzard already with a track segment lead, trying to Skeeter Davis's wins record. When Burt Buzzard goes flying off the track, he ends up on his roof and out of the race. The final El Reco of the NASCAR Nitro Series season ends up on the final lap. And it's going to be Clyde that takes the checkered flag. And Clyde, with that win, cements himself in second place over Lucky Jackson. With that win, and how fitting is it that he gets to join Burt Buzzard on the Polish victory lap. Burt Buzzard now with a car length lead heading into turn number 1. Just for fun, they're Polish victory lapping the champion and the race winner. And it's going to be Burt Buzzard that takes the Polish victory lap. But it is Clyde. His second career NASCAR Nitro Series win comes at Nazareth Speedway in the finale. That's his 9th top 10 on the year. What a great season by Clyde and this whole podium. We'll get to Burt Buzzard in just a second. The 4th second place finish for Lucky Jackson. Still looking for that first career win. That is 4 second place finishes now. Wraps up 3rd in points as the only driver to get double-digit top 10s. But we're here to congratulate your 2025 NASCAR Nitro Series Modified champion Burt Buzzard. What a great season he had. The 24 laps of Le Mans, he got a win at Pocono and a win at the Crown Jewel Coca-Cola 600. What an awesome season for Burt Buzzard. Congratulations, Mark D. Cut Rock Creek Racing, on the first NASCAR Nitro Modified Series Championship. That is one seriously fast car you built. What an awesome performance all year. In addition to those 3 victories, he's been to several other main events, got a top 10 in 3/4 of the races, and no finishes at all outside of the top 20. Congratulations on a great season, guys. And here are your race results. Clyde, with his second career victory, vaults over Lucky Jackson for second place in the points. He was only 11 points out of second heading into the race. Gale Force and Heather make up the rest of your top 5, while Po' Boy and Gaza, their main event appearances should put Po' Boy in the top 5 in points and Gaza in the top 10 in points. Harry Hoon, Misty G, and Bobby Allison round out your top 10. A great finish for all these guys, getting a top 10 at the historic Nazareth Speedway on location. 11th through 20th, Riot Isaac, Elton Sawyer, and Baby Richie, who binned it on the front stretch of the last lap of the seconds race, makes up your seconds race. Puff and Gray round out your top 15. Gray should still be 5th or 6th in points. We got to do some math in just another minute. Sparky Racer, Giorgio in 17th, Bill Z, Bub, William, and Chase Elliott round out your top 20. Chase Elliott in 20th, Skeeter Davis in 26th. I don't believe the 18-point difference between 20th and 26th is enough to get Chase Elliott past Skeeter Davis for Field Filler of the Year. And here is the rest of the field. Lord Shank through Skeeter Davis, your finishing drivers. J-Bo, your highest finishing El Recco. The last trip to the HSL junkyard anybody made of the season. Far Out Jay didn't have a great race. Bad points days for Charlie Verney, Lord Raymond. All the frequent flyers had their last DNF of the year as well. And now let's take a look at the points. The official result is Burt Buzzard wins the championship by 59 points over Clyde and 70 points over Lucky Jackson. Burt Buzzard clinched it by winning his segment early on. And Clyde and Lucky Jackson fought to the bitter end for second place and the prizes that come along with that. Clyde gets the edge by 11 points over Lucky Jackson by winning the race. Gale Force and Po' Boy round out your top 5 in points. They're getting the results posted to redlinederby.com. Gray just barely missed out by 29 points. Still a great season in 6th place. Misty G, Harry Hoon, Gaza, and Lord Raymond round out your top 10. Bobby Allison barely outside in 11th. Puff in 12th, right within striking distance. Only 20 points separate Gaza in 9th place from Puff in 12th. Riot Isaac, Sparky Racer, and Heather. Heather salvages a top 15 points finish with her main event appearance at the expense of Charlie Verney, who had a DNF in the segment racing. J-Bo falls to 17th, Baby Richie 18th. Baby Richie's your comeback driver of the year for the mods because he won a race, and at the beginning of the season he had 2 DNQs in the first 3 races. Came back to finish in the top 20 in points. And here is 25th through 36th, the last of the actual full-time modifieds. Sloppy Bear in 34th, Chef Squid in 31st. Skeeter Davis is your field filler of the year. He beats out Chase Elliott by 53 points. And here are the drivers that were previously eliminated. Missed the race on points. 37th place, Szechuan Broccoli. 250th place, Gale. Some other notable names in this list is Coop, Coffee Tart, and Charlie. Gale in 50th. End count through Nessa Force 51st through 65th. Nessa Force locks up last place with 43 points. Somehow Vinny Nightlife got into a modified race, and if you're wondering who Ski Bob is, that is Lord Shank's stock driver. When Lord Shank won that stock race, that's who drove his stock in the Indy 400. So there we have it, the final point standings of 2025. 65 different cars took the track for the modifieds. Let's see how many we can get for 2026. Signups are active right now on redlinederby.com. Look for the NASCAR Nitro Modified Series 2026 season. There's going to be a link in the description to the Redline Derby signups. Also a link to my Instagram. You can sign up by leaving me a message on there as well. And to sign up, if you're sending your cars in for the 2026 season, send them to HSL Diecast, P.O. Box 7, Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, 18091. Thank you all who watched this for tuning into a great season of NASCAR racing. Remember to hit that like button, leave a comment, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. And stay tuned in for some more content in between the seasons. Not sure what that's going to all entail yet, but you'll see it when it comes up. Once again, thank you all for a great season of racing. To everybody who's left a comment, thanks for your support. See yous all out there on the track.